Hi, my name is Darcy Cole, and I am the Extension Educator for 4-H Youth Development in McLeod County. And I'd like to first start off by thanking you for agreeing to judge our 2020 McLeod County 4-H static and animal science interviews. We know that this year things look a little bit different given all of the COVID craziness in the world. But we appreciate your willingness to stick with us and provide the best possible experience for our 4-Hers. In this video, I'm going to do a short overview of judging just to give you a few clarifying details on things. Our static projects and all of our animal science interviews will be judged through Zoom, and they will be judged in a one-on-one conference judging type of situation. So in that experience, you as the judge, as well as a 4-H staff member and the 4-H'er that you're interviewing will be in a Zoom breakout room where you'll be able to spend roughly 5 to 7 minutes asking the 4-H'er questions about their projects. If you are doing static, we will have available for you ahead of time pictures as well as write-ups from our 4-H'ers describing their projects that you will be able to review prior to judging. And that is really to allow you the opportunity to spend your conference judging time having really meaningful conversation versus having the 4-H'er tell you step by step how they made their project. So I would encourage you, if you have time, to go in ahead of time and review those things. In the email that comes with this video, you will have information on how to access those pictures and write-ups through Fair Entry. So take time to do that. The staff that are in your breakout room with you during your interview will also be able to pull up for you those write-ups and pictures before the 4-H'er does interview with you. We have a few minutes built into our schedule for you to be able to do that, as well as write comments about the 4-H'ers experience. So just know that those will also be available during your judging time, and you'll have a staff member available to assist you in accessing all of those. If you're doing our animal science interviews, you will not have the pictures and the write-ups, so your time will be spent solely just asking questions related to their animal science project. We do have some sample interview questions that are provided for both static and your animal science interviews, so feel free to use those however you so choose. You can use them as they are, or you can use totally different questions. That is entirely up to you. But otherwise, essentially, that is how judging will look. As I mentioned, you'll have a staff with you at all times that will be able to walk you through and help you and answer questions. That staff person will also be able to enter in to Fair Entry the placing that your 4-H will receive, whether that's a blue, a red, or a white ribbon. And they will also take notes on just the highlights of the feedback that you share with the 4-H'er, so that 4-H'er will have that written as feedback for them to be able to go in and view in Fair Entry as well. When giving feedback, we ask that you use the sandwich approach, which essentially means that at the conclusion of your time together, that you will share with the 4-H'er one positive thing that they did about their project or their interview. Then you would provide for them any critical feedback that you may have or suggestive feedback for them on how to improve their project or their interview skills. And then we would just ask that you close out with some additional positive feedback for them, just so that they leave that experience feeling hopefully that it was a good and positive experience and they're proud of their work and their interview that they did. But that's really the only kind of direction we're going to give you on that. So we encourage you to approach your interview as you would a typical in-person interview, and ask that the way that you judge and the feedback that you give would be similar to that. When we talk about our placings, we will be giving, as normal, blue, red, and white ribbons. And there is a guide that is with this email that comes with the video here that outlines that for you. But something that is different to note in 2020 is that any static project that receives a blue ribbon, for those 4-Hers who have completed 6th grade and above, they are eligible to advance to state showcase. So keep that in mind as you're judging, and know that it is okay in McLeod County to not give a blue ribbon on a project. So if you feel that the project is deserving of a red or white ribbon, that is totally okay. As long as that 4-Her understands why they received the ribbon placing, we fully support whatever placing you choose to give them. That is why we are hiring you for your expertise. So please know that that is totally your discretion. Blue ribbons should be awarded for those projects that are well completed and have little suggestions for improvement, and your interview was pretty good. Red ribbons should be for projects who have more things that you would recommend that they would do better next time, and their interview wasn't as good. That might mean that they didn't know about their project, and it lends you to think that someone else maybe completed a large part of their project. Or it might just simply be that when you asked them questions, you were getting one-word responses, or they didn't know answers to your questions. White ribbons, those should be reserved for projects who need a lot of work and did poorly in their interviews. When you are done awarding your blue, your red, and your white ribbons, those will be given to the 4-Hers at time of judging when you finish with your conversation with them. You will then, after completing all judging, award your champion and reserve champion ribbons. This year, due to numbers, we will not be awarding champions and reserve champions in age division classes. We will simply be doing overall project champions. And with that, for livestock interviews, that may look a little bit different, but for static, that's how we'll do that. Your champions and reserve champions should only be awarded from blue ribbon placings. So if you do not have a blue ribbon in a project area, that would then mean that you would not have a champion or reserve champion in that area. But also know that it is your discretion how you award those champion and reserve champion ribbons. So if you have 2 projects that you feel are equally deserving, you could, in theory, award 2 champion ribbons or 2 reserves or both. But also know that if you do not have any projects that you feel are deserving, even though they did receive blue ribbons, you do not have to award champions or reserve champions in those areas. So just know that. And staff, again, will be available to help you do that as you are working through things. So make sure that you ask questions if you do have them. And then final thing I want to just review is kind of our checkout process for you when you're all done judging. So when you're finished with your judging time, we will have the 4-Hers and you'll be able to leave the call too. And then we'll have you award your champion and reserve champion ribbons. And we will have a spreadsheet that you can complete that will list out for those, for us staff, who those people are. And then also we will have a spot on your work that you'll receive to indicate your hours of judging so that we can pay you appropriately. You will get paid all of your judging time as well as any time that it takes you to make decisions around your champions and reserve champions. So just know that is all paid time. So make sure that you are tracking that as you are judging and making those decisions. So with that, I think that really gives an overview very briefly of what our judging here in McLeod County will look like. Again, thank you for your willingness to be flexible, to go with the flow, and to help provide the best possible experience for our 4-Hers. If you have questions, as always, reach out to staff. We are here to help you, and we want to see you and our 4-Hers all be successful in this experience. Otherwise, thank you again, and we will see you very shortly for judging.